So we got a tough one today, and this video was made possible by my awesome patron, Killer Fam. Thank you so much for your patronage. I hope this video is good enough for what you wanted, and that is, I guess, how Saitama can be defeated or what his weaknesses are. And as I said, very tough, ultra subjective, and I'm sure there's going to be a lot of bleeding hearts in the comments that are telling me that I'm wrong and this and that, but guys, if you have a different outcome to me, it's expected because there's, way more than one answer to this question. Might not even be an answer to this question, but we're going to discuss it anyway because I think it's pretty interesting. So as for his weakness, I don't think he has any, or at least not that we know of yet. He hasn't shown anything remotely close to what would be considered a weakness, right? I mean, unless I'm missing something here. But I suppose, him inherently being a human is somewhat of a weakness in itself, since you can fundamentally be taken advantage of one way or another through your emotions or your morality or whatever, and that's mainly going to be the target, I suppose, of trying to take down Saitama, because he basically is a god through and through. I mean, that's one of the major narratives of the series, but at the same time, a flawed human. But aside from that stuff, I guess there's some things that we can look into, like, can Saitama drown or suffocate or whatever? I mean, Goku, when he's Super Saiyan Blue, who people say is a universe buster, he can drown. So, maybe Saitama can too. I mean, like, when he's kicked to the moon by Boros, he is holding his breath. So does that mean that, like, he had to, or was it kind of like a reaction? Was it like a reflex or something? Or was One and Murata not really taking that much into consideration when trying to display what he can do in a vacuum or not? Unclear at this point, but considering how, like, truly outrageous his physicality is, maybe he can hold his breath for, like, 100 years or something. I don't know. And also, like, and the other question is, like, if you hurl him into space, is he done? Can he come back? He pretty much can. And Murata, was making a joke of it, and Murata, the artist, so, take that for what you will. When he was asked this question, he said that he can, like, fart or something his way back to Earth. But regardless, I think he could. I mean, do you really think Saitama is, like, completely done if he just gets knocked into space? Like, there's no way he's going to come back? I don't think that's likely. I think he could just, do some kind of physical maneuver to generate enough force to bring him back to Earth. I don't think that's out of the realm of possibility. But other than that, I mean, there's just the obvious answer of just having someone stronger than him to defeat him. I don't know, aside from just breaking the rules of the universe and pulling a character from another one, you'd have to create, like, a new, more powerful version of Saitama, which is very possible given the rules that we have within the One Punch Man universe. So this is ultimately going to come down to Dr. Genus, I guess, doing this along with the help of the other brightest minds in the One Punch Man world. And this is also going to tie into the other answer/hypothesis that I have for what could be a method of defeating Saitama. But Dr. Genus, I don't know, would have to come together with, like, Psychos and Dr. Bafoy and, like, Child Emperor and all of them, and they would have to brainstorm as a way to defeat Saitama. So if Psychos gives the information to the rest of them about the whole Zenkai spam thing, where, what she was trying to do with Orochi and Garo, where you can just keep bringing, like, an exceptional being close as you can to death and then bring them back, they'll get, like, a super outrageous power boost. So if Psychos can give this information to Dr. Genus and the rest of them, then they could, I guess, start their own little experiment by finding somebody that can undergo the Zenkai training, because not everybody can. And then if you give them, like, a year and a half or something, however long it would take, they could develop a being, through the Zenkai stuff, and then removing his limiter and keep him training and becoming stronger. Then in theory, you can, I guess, create somebody stronger than Saitama. Given the right variables. I'm not even accounting for if Saitama's power is increasing on its own during that time, because that's a whole other topic for another video that I'm going to eventually make. But now let's get into what I would do if I had to write the scenario for Saitama being defeated. Something that doesn't require too much, like, leaps in logic and perfect planning and strategy, like what we just talked about with developing a new Saitama, through the knowledge that is existing in that world. And it's that you basically just have to cancel Saitama. Now, I don't mean like, literally like how we do in our world. It just takes me back to one of my favorite movies, Watchmen. Yeah, I know it's polarizing. If you hate it, that's fine. And if you hate me because I like it, whatever. But anyway, the ending of the movie, spoilers for the ending of Watchmen in case you haven't seen it, it essentially comes down to Ozymandias tricking a god in Dr. Manhattan into like the whole world coming against him. Like Ozymandias essentially brings world peace and ends all of the wars by having everyone unite against a common enemy in Dr. Manhattan. And yes, it's fabricated. He's not a true villain, but Ozymandias makes it seem like he is. And, Dr. Manhattan being the ultra genius, unfathomable intelligence that he has, he agrees with Ozymandias. He's like, yep, you got me. And you know what? This is fine. As long as there's world peace, it's okay. I don't even need to be here. I'm just going to go chill in the cosmos. Now, this could kind of happen to Saitama too, but it's not going to have the same outcome that it does in the Watchmen. Like, Saitama, I doubt, is going to have the same realization that Dr. Manhattan did. Although they are very similar characters, and it's going back to what I was saying in the beginning of the video. Both are, super outrageously powerful godlike beings, but in the end, inherently, they are human. Or at least started off as humans. And this comes back to the dream team that I was talking about of like Dr. Genus, Psychos, Bufoy, Child Emperor, whoever else, coming together, a meeting of the minds. They can devise this plan to make the world come together against Saitama. And when I say the world, I don't mean just humans. I mean like monsters too. Like, this could be like the symbol that they use to cause essentially peace between human and monsters. And I know that it's hard to fathom that because most monsters, 99% of them are complete unredeemable psychopaths and, wouldn't really care about teaming up with the humans. But like, if you think about it within like the narrative of the series, something like that could work, at least if the big intelligent, powerful monsters came together and then convinced the other monsters. It's like, hey, let's just leave the humans alone because we all collectively hate Saitama. Because think about it, they're gonna be like, oh my god, that guy is super powerful. I don't want him around. And then the humans are like, hey, he's super powerful. He's a detriment to the world. Similar to how Batman saw Superman. It's like, dude, you're too powerful to exist in our world. Like, you're just a threat, regardless of your intentions. So if they could, I don't know, orchestrate this like propaganda, like I was saying, to turn Saitama into the absolute face of like fear and evil and like, I don't know, like at a sentient apocalypse, then there's no point for Saitama to continue doing what he's doing. And it could either send him into reclusion or maybe even a depression, or just him stop being active at all within the power scale, which is essentially defeating him in a way. I mean, if you're getting rid of him, I guess it's the same as, defeating him or killing him or whatever. Now, I'm sure you're also thinking, well, we kind of saw this happen in chapter 22 when Tank Top Black Hole and Tank Top Tiger tried to have, as they literally say in the volume, mob mentality take him down. And it didn't really work at that point. And also we got the insight from Saitama that's like, hey, you know what? I don't care if you guys hate me. I do this because I want to. Now, that is partially true, I suppose, but also this sequence definitely shows some of the most emotion that we've ever seen from Saitama. Like, it might be the most, or definitely one of the most times he's ever been like at his angriest, or just shown the most emotions. Like, this is genuinely showing a kink in Saitama's armor here, in my opinion. And I think that if this is thrown to the nth degree, like I said, the entire world hates him. Humans, monsters, and everything in between. I think it could possibly be the end of Saitama because, like, this is just a small sample size here. This is just like a group of like less than 100 people, it appears to be in chapter 22, and it's already getting this kind of reaction out of Saitama. I mean, just think about it. Like I said, it was on a global scale. I don't see why Saitama would just continue. There would be no point anymore other than just having his own satisfaction for him taking down monsters, but in a way that's kind of somewhat turning him into a villain, or at least an anti-hero at the same time. So yeah, I mean, that's where I see it.
And like I said in the beginning, guys, I'm sure a lot of you are going to disagree with me, and that's completely fine because, as I said, this is one of those ultra subjective things out there, and there's so many different methods to come up with as to how to defeat a character of this magnitude. So let me know in the comments, of course. But if you liked the video, guys, if you didn't find it too egregious, or if it entertained you, please give it a like. I also have a Patreon. It gives you access to a weekly Q&A. And if you haven't already, please subscribe as well. Have a great day, and I'll see you in the next one.